everybody, Mrs. Tomaselli here. Today we're going to talk about the parts of an atom and how to model the internal structure of an atom. So at this point we know that particles can be a compound, which is multiple atoms stuck together, or an individual element. And so right now we're going to, like when we talk about individual elements, we mean each individual element is a certain type of atom. And so an atom is one unit of matter. That is the tiniest unit of matter. And so far we've just been drawing it as a circle. And so I want you to imagine this whole image that you see on the screen right now is our particle that we've been drawing, or one atom. And we're actually going to zoom in even further to look at what's inside of an atom. And this may be review for some of you, or it might be new information for some of you. But you'll be able to look at the whole periodic table at the end of this unit and understand what the numbers mean, and also be able to visualize what each atom might look like based on just looking at the periodic table. So what we see here on the screen right now is an atom. And you see a whole bunch of circles inside in the center of the atom. This is what we call the nucleus. And you see some positive charged particles here, and then some that don't have a charge on them. So we're going to learn what all of these pieces are. You also kind of see this fuzzy cloud around it. So we're going to learn what that is as well. And then you also see this number that says 8E minus. And so you'll understand what that means as well. Everything we draw in chemistry is very intentional. And so you should always be curious when you see something like this. Oh, what does that mean? So if you don't know what it means, take note of it and then pay attention and try to answer that question throughout the presentation. So our learning objectives here are to describe atomic structure using a model of the atom that includes protons, neutrons, and electrons. Compare and contrast atoms of different elements and isotopes of the same element. So here I have a few, at least one new vocabulary word, which is isotope. In the first objective 2, we have 3 vocabulary words: protons, neutrons, and electrons. And finally, we're going to calculate the atomic mass of an element given isotope data. This I might give you a very brief introduction to, but we won't spend too much time on it. It's important in chemistry, but it's not so important. And so this year will be a brief introduction. Okay, visualizing the atom. So here we have a picture of a diamond, of course. Diamonds are actually made 100% of carbon. So just like charcoal is made of carbon, even most of your body is made of carbon. If all the carbon atoms are arranged in a very specific crystal shape, then we get this really beautiful structure, which is so perfect that it looks like a diamond and is incredibly hard. So if we zoom in to one atom, one of those atoms, then you'll get something that looks like this. So in the middle of an atom, we have a nucleus, and you'll notice there's 2 types of particles inside of the nucleus. And then we have this thing called the electron cloud. And so in the nucleus, we actually have 2 types of particles. They're called subatomic particles because they're subatomic, meaning they're smaller than an atom. And so one is a proton, and a proton has a positive charge, and we represent proton with a P plus. The charge on one proton is 1 plus, and the mass is 1 AMUs. AMU stands for atomic mass unit. Now that is a very, very small unit. We made it 1 so that it matches the mass of 1 proton. So when we're talking about protons, we can just easily identify how many there are based on the mass, and if there's 3 protons, we know that it's 3 atomic mass units. Neutrons are neutral. They do not have a charge, but they're also 1 atomic mass unit. All right, in the next video, we'll look at electrons and keep going.